You're in Indy? Is that where you're going?
Yeah,
You got a good bracket.
I know.
That's really good. I think you
The
might have the
crowds are going
best.
to be
Yeah.
unbelievable,
Yeah.
honestly.
You might have the best pair of games, I think, of any region. And it starts with Houston in your alma mater.
Yep.
You did graduate, correct?
Yes.
You do have your diploma?
I got like 4 minors. What do you mean? I got a degree in 4 minors.
All
If I
right.
had a brain, I would have started working on my master's, but I was a little burnt out on school, so I took golf class that last
You took
semester.
golf class instead of getting another.
I mean, I would have had to really, really be invested.
Yeah. Yeah. You were
Like
not.
by
I
that
mean,
time,
again,
no,
when you're
I was
at Purdue
burnt
for
out.
8 years, you should be getting multiple degrees.
Hold on, it was five, dude. No, I couldn't keep. I didn't have it in me to really dig deep and get like I should have gotten like a master's in finance or use that free time to get a or something real. But
Yeah.
I got a minor in OLS and a minor in marketing,
If you
and
had done that, if you gotten a master in finance, you would have figured out how overpaid you are for this
you,
spot.
you know what though? First of all, no, I got a minor in communications. Think about how that served me.
Wow, that
I
has
work in
helped you.
communications now, so this is tremendous.
I take all the credit for you being in the position you're
Oh
in right now.
God. Yeah, it's amazing I've been able to overcome that. All of my problems seem to kind of revolve around you.
I have to go in. At one point, we got to get Mark Gross from ESPN on this pod and see if he remembers. Early on in my tenure at ESPN, I remember going into his office and saying, because you probably told me that day how much you hated playing wherever you were.
I was in Russia.
Yeah, you hated
Yes,
it, hated it.
I did.
So I went in and I told him, I said, this dude's not long for overseas. He's just not
No.
that guy who can tough it out over there. He's having some issues.
My
He's
mental
complaining.
toughness rating, if they had like NBA 2K for Russia, my mental toughness rating would have legitimately been one. One of 100. That's what it would have been.
You
I
were
I
so
was
out.
not,
You were
but I
not
actually played well. That's what's messed up. But my practice habits
terrible.
had gotten pretty terrible. My diet was consisting of I would get in the car right after practice and I would tell Roman, my
Yeah,
driver,
yeah,
I
that's
would
right.
tell Roman over Google Translate, take me to Mega Mall. And I would go there.
What were you
And
eating?
most nights I would hit Shake Shack up and I would go 2 burgers, fries, Coke, Cinnabon dessert.
No way, seriously.
I was eating my feelings, dude. I really hated it. I tell you, I was there a lot. And I'd usually like Roman would come in and we'd just talk over Google Translate on the phone.
You had nobody else. You're talking to poor Roman.
Yeah. You know who else actually helped me a lot over there was James Augustine. We'd run into each other at the mall a good amount, just kind of like walking
He was
around.
doing the
So
same thing you were doing.
kind of, yeah. But he was better at it. He like was more equipped to be over there.
Yeah, you were
So
not mentally tough enough, like the Houston Cougars,
correct.
who obviously, um, listen, they've been unbelievable this year. I mean, think about how dominant they've been in the
Yeah.
Big 12 and then winning the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
this is
19-1 in the Big 12 is an incredible
insane.
accomplishment. And
It's
then and
I
then
know the Big
sweeping.
12 isn't what we thought it was going to be because
No, but it's still a power
yeah,
conference. Like it's still probably the third best league in the country.
right.
Um, So and the fact we know their defense, we know their toughness, we know their rebounding, but the offensive firepower they have out of the backcourt, and the ability to get second chances with their bigs. Cryer tying a career high with 30. I mean, shit, Emmanuel Sharp was unbelievable in the Big 12 tournament. He's the
Yes.
MVP. And then I've been blown away from watching some of the tape of Uzan. I had no idea. Just because I've only seen him a few times.
He's gotten really
Oh
good.
my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Like just the shiftiness, the floater.
Yeah.
He's a problem. He is a
And he was so
big
bad
problem.
in November when I saw him
Yeah.
at
I remember you tweeted that. I
he
was
was
like, man, Jeff
awful.
doesn't know basketball. That's
No,
crazy.
no, no. Kelvin said he wasn't good, but he said the problem was he was going east west way too much and not going north south. He just didn't know how to play for Kelvin yet.
Yeah.
It
Well, he's
takes some
figured it out
time
because
and
he's pretty good.
he's
So
been good. They shoot it well. They don't shoot a ton of threes, but
yeah.
they shoot it very well. And I thought the The big thing was
Well, and
LJ
then
Cryer.
like they crush you in rebound margin and they crush you in turnover margin.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they can honestly get hot from three. And I know it's not the craziest amount. They're not shooting a
Right.
ridiculous amount of threes, but it's still like Cryer can burn you and Uzan can burn you and
Yep.
Emmanuel Sharp can burn you. So yeah, they're impressive, man. That's pretty good
So
stuff.
how do your Purdue Boilermakers stack up to them, and who wins?
I mean, Purdue's got a rebound. They cannot turn the ball over, and those have been two weaknesses for them. And I'm really fascinated. You know, what are Purdue's main two actions or I guess sources of offense? Ball screen with Braden Smith, post up for Trey Red, and just the way Houston traps those two actions. The thing is, though, if you can get out of them, there are opportunities outside of it. But that's a lot. No, I'm just saying, like when teams beat them, it's because they all right, two on the ball, short roll, or swing it ahead and play. Like, but other guys have to make the plays. It will be very interesting. I think from a matchup standpoint, a lot of Houston's strengths match up with a lot of Purdue's weaknesses, and that's not always a good thing. But the crowd is going to be unbelievable for Purdue, I think, and it'll be interesting. Even though Purdue, Tennessee, they have a lot of history. There's a lot of history there from the past 15 years. I still think that if Purdue is in it, the crowd will turn on Houston because I think the other two teams would want to play Purdue and they like upsets. And there will be a lot of Purdue people there.
Yeah.
So if they can keep the crowd in it and keep the game pressure on them, who knows? But I just, Houston it's a really, really hard matchup for Purdue.
Yeah. This is not a matchup I like for Purdue.
Yeah.
At all. I think it's one of the worst matchups they could draw, because even with their bigs, right? Like they're just so tough and they come at you in waves. And Trey Kaufman-Renn, it's going to be hard for him to stay out of foul trouble in this one too, because again, it's kind of like he's by himself sometimes on the glass.
Dude, I mean, Trey Kaufman-Renn, I hear you in the foul trouble, but he's had like 20 points or more in 7 of the last 8 games.
It's
I
just
think
whether he can stay on the floor.
I think he'll stay on the floor. I know he fouls a lot. I think that there are other problems that I would point to for
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of questions with this one. And if you're Purdue and you fight them and you take this one down to the wire, I think it's still a pretty good year, all things considered, right?
No, I mean, I think they're playing with house money at this point, and I think the hope has to be you keep this team together and you add some pieces um, on the portal, and next year is the year that you're thinking we could be, not we, I mean, Purdue could be amazing.
You'd say we. I mean,
I meant that from their mindset. I wasn't trying to say that like Purdue is in we.
Have you given any? Are you allowed to give any money through NIL? Has anybody asked you, the collective, like what's the deal here?
I don't know.
I know you signed a big contract this year, so
with you guys?
No,
well, I did not.
No, with all your other employers.
No, I'm like,
not us.
No, I've never been hit. I'm on the board at the collective, but
are you? You're the board?
I'm a board member. I don't.
What do you do for that? What are your responsibilities as a board
member? I've been on a couple phone calls over the last 2 years. Yeah, it's not a massive commitment.
All right, I'm gonna take Houston in that one. The other one
I think that's
maybe the best, even though Kentucky has beaten Tennessee twice this year. I still think it's a very even matchup. We saw them play. We were at the game where Kentucky beat them in Rupp about a month ago, something like that. And Lamont Butler got hurt, and they still ended up winning that game. It was crazy because I thought they were done. I think Tennessee wins this one. I think they get.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times. There's no doubt.
Why?
Like that.
Have you been in this position?
I'm sure that I have.
In Russia?
I actually pulled up a video at dinner the other night of me getting in a fight in a Russian game. Getting a check.
No, there's no way you did. Did you act like you were all tough and everything? You did one of those?
Totally. I shoved the center was cheap shotting me, and I came down the floor and just 2 hands shoved him so hard in the chest. And then we it was more like basketball fight, like hold me back while I talk shit to this guy, and we're not gonna probably fight. But you never know over there because it's like chaos. Yeah. But I got fined 100 euros for that, or 100
euros.
Well, it was more of like $100 and whatever rubles are. I have to do the math. I forget. I forget
All
what
right.
the
I like Tennessee in this one. I really do. I picked him actually to go to the Final Four.
yeah. And I
I
just
like how
think
they're. Go
go
ahead.
ahead, sorry.
I
No,
like how
go
they're
ahead.
playing. I mean, Chaz Lanier is one of the best scorers in the country. You know what you're going to get out of Zakai Ziegler. I think it's a pretty good matchup against Lamont Butler there. The
Yeah.
key I've said all year is Milicic, and if he comes to play, that gives him because Parr has been good. Like he's been good for the most part for what they've needed out of him. I just think Milicic is the one that, number one, he's got to get in the glass and he's got to be aggressive.
Yeah.
That's the thing with him. If he's not aggressive, sometimes he can coast, look invisible, and then Rick Barnes pulls his ass. So like I think he's the X factor here.
Yeah. I'm going to go Tennessee too. I just think Kentucky is their health has been so bad. I mean, they've just had to. It's like they're plugging holes, and it just keeps their spring leaks are springing up everywhere. And it's honestly a credit to Mark Pope that they made it this far. It really is. Like that is pretty unbelievable when you think about all they've dealt with, and then you beat an Illinois team that's really talented, and you think, man, Illinois could be really underseeded. You handle them. I think because of the three-time deal, and then the defense that Tennessee's got now. Kentucky's had success against them. Like they it's not like they haven't won those games in the 60s. But just with the way that Ziegler guards, the way that Meshack guards, the injuries, I just think it's too much, and Tennessee gets them here.